Good morning, OBC, and welcome to church. I hope you all enjoyed the Easter break and are beginning to find some good positive routine during lockdown. One of the interesting impacts of the current situation we're in is the usual trappings of church we rely upon have been taken away from us, and we're trying to discover as we go how to really be church without buildings, without meetings, and without even rotas. Now, in theory, this should give us more time to stop and reflect, to spend time with God. But are we able to relax in these new circumstances and actually let God speak to us? Or are we busy just filling our days with work and 2 young kids, all under the same roof, 24/7, all the time? I know I'm finding it easier to have somehow even busier days than before. You know, who knew going out to the office actually was quite a treat in some ways. We're also in a unique situation as a church. We find ourselves with no minister, with no moderator, and all of that normal structure of church has been removed from us at the same time as much of the normal routine of our personal lives has been stripped away. Now, as your leadership team of trustees, we honestly feel this is a key time for OBC. And we also believe during the last 2 years we've heard some things from God quite clearly about the sort of church that he wants us to be. And we believe simply that he wants us to be more missional in our outlook. And we earnestly want to pursue his purpose for Oakham Baptist Church, not our own. Now, if we believe that to be from God, then it poses some tough questions for us to consider. One big example, just to leave you to ponder, would we be prepared to accept the minister that God says we need, rather than the one that we think we might like? Put another way, are we willing to embrace the possibility of some missional, outward-focused risk over our pastoral safety? And as we look to the future of Oakham Baptist Church, we need to consider what we're happy with and what we are willing to be part of. And these are things the leadership team are grappling with already as we try and assemble this church profile that goes out to try and help us find our new minister. As part of this, as your leadership team, we've put together a series of very short talks to give you an overview of our thinking on a range of key topics. Now, we're only touching, during these short talks, 3 or 4 minutes only, we're only touching on some big issues. But we hope it's helpful, we hope it's encouraging, and we hope it begins some conversations. The first area I'm going to cover really quickly is communication. Now, we're in this space of not being together physically, and yet still wanting and trying to be church together. We're a fairly rural church. We're not in a big city. We're not already used to running online services. We don't stream lots of content already. And yet we're quickly exploring the use of media for different services, for different meetings and small groups. And we're learning as we go which tools work well for us. And we're taking the opportunity to try new things and actually to take some risks. We've had some live worship recordings. We've had a whole service live streamed from Martin and Andy's house. And we've had lots of other content that's been created or pulled together by Julie, Rhoda and others. Even later this morning, there is a recording of a worship song, which actually I've done with my friend Chris, and I've done it from this room. So we're trying new things, and we're taking some small risks. As a team, also having brought Lorraine, Andrew and Tim on board, we're looking at how that team needs to function now and in the future to best serve OBC, but perhaps more importantly to best serve our community. And Neil will be covering a bit more around team structure shortly. Our challenge as a church and as individuals is how do we make the most of this unexpected opportunity we have? How do we make sure that no one gets left behind, and that those of us who aren't particularly tech savvy are still very much part of this dynamic, but for now at least remote church community? How can we use this time to get even better at one another, as Steve often talked about? And how do we ensure we communicate well with everyone? The thought I'll leave you with is this. Imagine a church family that learns to function well as a missional, outward-looking community, even when it can't meet face to face. How powerful could that community be when they could meet together again?
Father's love. Let all my life tell of who you are, and the wonder of your never-ending love. Let all my life tell of who you are. You're wonderful and such a good Father. Let all my life tell of who you are, and the wonder of your never-ending love. Let all my life tell of who you are. You're wonderful and such a good Father. You are wonderful and such a good Father. So help me to love with open arms like you do. A love that erases all the lies and sees the truth. Oh, that when they look in my eyes, they won't see you. Even in just a smile, they would feel the Father's love.
Hello. Let's start by looking at the passage in Luke for today. If you want to look it up in your Bible, we're in Luke chapter 4, verses 14 to 30. So watch this short film of the passage where Jesus is speaking in the synagogue in Nazareth.